phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
This is Khalil Tate, former Arizona quarterback. He broke out on the college football scene in 2017, showing a lot of potential and flash in his game, and he had a lot of hype going into 2018. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine for the college football 2018 season, and it even said he's the nation's best quarterback. Hand him the Heisman. If you fast forward just a few years later, Khalil Tate today is an NFL/Canadian Football League free agent, and he never did quite make it to that Heisman level that he was hyped up to be. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what happened to Khalil Tate. Before I move on, remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into it. To start this video off, I'm going to be talking briefly about Khalil Tate's high school football career and what he was like as a high school football recruit while he attended Sarah High School in Gardena, California. When talking about Khalil Tate as a high school quarterback, he was one of the most dynamic and electrifying quarterbacks in the entire nation with what he brought to the game. He was a solid passer and he could get it done in the pass game, but on the ground, Khalil Tate was nearly unstoppable. It may have been the best dual-threat quarterback in the nation, especially when you look at his numbers. In his high school football career, he threw for 3,543 passing yards, 36 touchdown passes, compared to 14 interceptions. However, he rushed for 3,625 rushing yards on the ground and 46 total touchdowns. And in his final season of high school football, Khalil Tate had his best year of his high school football career, as he threw for over 2,000 yards, 17 touchdown passes through the air, 8 interceptions, but rushed for 2,130 yards on 203 attempts and 26 total touchdowns on the ground. When looking at Khalil Tate as a high school recruit, he was very highly touted in the ranking perspectives, as he was a consensus 4-star on every platform, and according to the 24/7 Sports Composite rankings, he was a 4-star, number 214 player in the nation, and the number 11 athlete in the entire class. When talking about his offers, he had a total of 15 offers from schools such as Arizona, Boise State, Colorado State, Florida State, Nebraska, Texas A&M, USC, and Utah, just to name a few. Out of all the offers that he had, he would end up going to Arizona. When talking about the Arizona 2016 recruiting class, Khalil Tate was one of the more regarded recruits in that class for the Wildcats, as he was the second highest rated recruit in that class, and of course, the QB1 of that class, which is important for any team in the nation, no matter how good of a program you are. In 2016, as a true freshman at Arizona, Khalil Tate was a backup quarterback, and he didn't necessarily have the biggest impact on the team, but he still appeared in 7 games. In those 7 games, he had some moments where he showed a lot of flash and a lot of potential down the line, but he still had some freshman mistakes and even got injured at some point. In the 7 games that Khalil Tate appeared in, he attempted only 45 passes, completing 40% of them, throwing for 243 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, but he did rush for 237 rushing yards, averaging nearly 5 yards a carry, and 1 touchdown on the ground. Going into his sophomore campaign for the 2017 college football season, he was originally a backup quarterback. He would appear in some early games as a backup, but when the starting quarterback Dawkins went down with injury, Khalil Tate stepped into the starting role, and he just took off. He even won Pac-12 Player of the Week 4 times in a row, and that was the first time for a player to ever do that in the Pac-12 conference. In the 2017 season, Khalil Tate was electrifying. In the air, he completed 62% of his passes. Threw for 1,591 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. But where he did most of his damage was on the ground, as it was really hard to stop Khalil Tate when he was running, as he rushed for 1,411 yards, averaging 9 yards a carry, and had 12 total touchdowns on the ground. When talking about Khalil Tate heading into the 2018 college football offseason, he was picking up some real steam and hype around his name, since he showed a lot of flashes and potential in the 2017 season. Yes, he had some inconsistencies in his game, however, the potential was through the roof in many people's eyes, and Texas A&M head coach Kevin Sumlin would end up taking the job at Arizona after being fired by Texas A&M after the conclusion of the 2017 season. Now, this was seen as a pretty good hire for Arizona. Yes, Sumlin was kind of having some disappointing seasons at A&M in the later part of his career there. However, people were potentially thinking that someone who did coach Johnny Manziel, who was a Heisman winner and was an elusive quarterback like Khalil Tate, that Khalil Tate could reach his full potential and that this Arizona squad was destined for success. It even got to the point before the 2018 season in a preseason college football magazine for 2018 that Sports Illustrated put out, where Khalil Tate was on the cover. They called him the nation's best quarterback and to hand him the Heisman. In the 2018 season, when talking about Arizona as a team, they were disappointing in year one of the Kevin Sumlin era, as they went 5-7, completely missing out on a bowl game. When talking about Khalil Tate in the 2018 college football season, he played well, but he didn't necessarily take off like some people would imagine. He only completed 56% of his passes. He threw for 2,530 yards, 26 touchdown passes compared to 8 interceptions in 11 games played, but he was turned into more of a pocket passer than he was as a runner, which he really thrives as, like he did in 2017 in Rich Rod's offense, as in 2018 on the ground, he only rushed the ball 74 times for 224 yards, averaging 3 yards a carry and only 2 touchdowns. After this 2018 season, Khalil Tate had a decision to make, whether to go pro, transfer, or come back for one last season at Arizona. When looking at all the rumors around that time, message board rumors or just hot news rumors that some insiders were saying, it really did seem like Khalil Tate was more than likely not going to be a part of Arizona's football program in 2019, whether it was going to be him declaring early for the 2019 NFL draft or going into the transfer portal and going to play for a new team in the 2019 season completely. However, all those rumors were untrue, as Khalil Tate would come back for one last season for Arizona in 2019. As a senior in 2019 for Arizona, Khalil Tate and the Arizona Wildcats didn't have the season that any of them wanted. Arizona as a team only took another step back as they went 4-8 in the season in 12 games played, and yet again missed another bowl game, putting Kevin Sumlin on the hot seat even more. When talking about Khalil Tate, in 11 games played, he completed 60% of his passes, throwing for 1,954 yards, 14 touchdown passes through the air, 11 interceptions, while rushing for 413 yards and 3 total touchdowns on the ground. Just like that, Khalil Tate's college football career was officially over. One in which he completed 58% of his passes, threw for over 6,000 yards, 57 touchdown passes, 31 interceptions, rushing for over 2,000 yards and 18 total touchdowns on the ground in 4 seasons. When talking about Khalil Tate as an NFL prospect going into the 2020 NFL Draft, he wasn't necessarily seen as one of the top players and was more than likely going to be a late pick or go completely undrafted. And in the 2020 NFL Draft, he went undrafted, but shortly thereafter, he was signed by the Philadelphia Eagles to be converted into a wide receiver. When talking about his time with the Philadelphia Eagles, it was very short-lived. He was waived by the Eagles July 20th, 2020. He would eventually sign a reserve/future contract right after the 2020 NFL season, but he would be released before the preseason in the early summer on June 9th, 2021. Khalil Tate's next pro football opportunity came in the Canadian Football League with the Edmonton Elks, as he signed a contract for the 2022 season. However, he was released at the start of training camp. He would get another opportunity in 2022 with another CFL team, this time being the Toronto Argonauts, where he actually signed onto the team, but was only on the team for about 2 weeks, not appearing in a single game. I doubt this is the last time we'll see Khalil Tate. Maybe he'll have another shot with the NFL/Canadian Football League, have a shot with the USFL, and maybe even the XFL. Well guys, you made this far in the video. Remember to comment something down below what video you want to see next, and before you head out, remember to smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, and subscribe if you haven't already. Be Kelly out.